Summer travel in full swing now, but don't forget about Fido. And if your vacation includes air travel, here's an option that you might want to consider. It's an airline for your pets. It's designed to ease the nerves of pet owners who are concerned about temperature and air quality in the standard cabin. Animals on Pet Airways fly in a specially designed main cabin of a small jet.
I'm actually monitoring the air as we fly to make sure the temperature is correct, that there's plenty of airflow.
A Pet Airways ticket will cost you between $150 and $300 each way. And just in case you're wondering, cross-country trips are broken up for water breaks and visits to the nearest tree or spark plug.
You know, we can't leave our pets behind, Jimmy. I mean, think about it. In fact, a new survey by dogvacay.com shows 60% of dog owners surveyed say arranging accommodations for Fido has an impact on their plans. 14% have missed important life events because they didn't want to leave their dogs behind. And about half say worrying about their pet while they're away makes it hard for them to enjoy their trip. That's probably why many of us load up our pets in the car a lot of times when we leave the house. And while they're in the car, you've probably seen those harnesses that are designed to keep our pets safe. You may even have one. But in a first-of-its-kind study, researchers looked at just how safe those harnesses really are, and the results may take you by surprise.
We buckle up our kids to keep them safe in the car, but what about our dogs? And how safe are the harnesses used to protect man's best friend anyway? In a first-of-its-kind crash test, the leading harnesses, the ones most trusted by pet parents, turned dogs into projectiles and even decapitated the test pooch.
It was a very gruesome end for that test dog.
The Center for Pet Safety won't disclose what harnesses they tested out of fear that even fewer people will secure their pets, but she will say not a single harness passed the test.
We tested them to the child safety restraint standard, and we experienced a 100% failure rate of those products to protect either the consumer or the dog. And that's a very real concern for consumers.
She says while some manufacturers do claim to do their own tests, there's no government standards treating an unregulated industry that could be dangerous for drivers, costly for pet owners, and at the very least painful for your pet. Dr. Kim Haddad says she has seen firsthand what can happen to a pet in a car accident.
Broken legs, broken jaws, soft tissue injury. It can be pretty traumatic. Something is probably better than nothing, but again, it's only going to be as good as the manufacturer and the fit and the user application of the product.
According to AAA, at least 20% of drivers admit to letting their dog ride unsecured in the car. But right now, no state requires us to buckle up our best friend. States like New Jersey and Tennessee have proposed bills that would require harnesses. The CPS worries that is creating a false sense of security as owners assume if a product is legislated, it needs some kind of safety standard.
When it's a mandated product, they equate the harness with the crash-tested child safety seat. And that's a real concern for us.
CPS is now calling for standardized testing similar to child safety seats and for lawmakers to educate themselves on safety standards before legislating the restraints. Because as these tests show, legislation alone isn't enough to protect man's best friend.
And the researchers used 3 dogs in different sizes in their study, a 25, 45, and 75-pound test dog.
Now, I got to admit, I was a little panicked there for a second before I realized, okay, that's a stuffed dog. Yes. It's not a real dog.
That's why I emphasize test dog.
Yeah, it was all stuffed. Now, there's another concern for pet owners when it comes to their travels. A lot of times, when our animals don't go on vacation with us, well, here's an idea. We leave them at the kennel. Maybe you do bring them along and you go somewhere, like for instance, a dog park. Let's take them to the dog park. Now, if you're not careful, they may come home with a deadly virus, because when dogs are exposed to other dogs, you don't know the other dog's hygiene or the vaccine history. They may be infected with something called Parvo. Parvo is transmitted by oral contact with infected feces, and it can be in any place at any time.
Flapjack and Penguin look and play like any other healthy puppies. But the brother and sister are fighting an internal battle of their own after being rescued from deplorable living conditions.
They started having a lot of bloody diarrhea, soft stool. We went ahead and blood tested them. The blood tested showed that they were positive for the Parvo virus.
The deadly virus Parvo has a fatality rate of 60%, but with the help of veterinarians, Penguin and Flapjack have a fighting chance. The pup story of survival started at this Maryland home where more than 30 dogs were living without food and water. A neighbor complained about loud barking, and that's when animal control stepped in and found the malnourished pooches cramped together.
It's inhumane to keep animals crated with that many animals in one crate. Just to see that volume of animals in one location and no food and water, that's unacceptable.
It's those conditions, the dog's veterinarian says, contributed to the deadly virus attacking Penguin and Flapjack.
It causes a lot of fluid loss and nutritional loss. The animals get dehydrated.
The owner of the dogs told police he had brought the canines across state lines with the intention of selling them. Instead, he's now trying to buy his way out of animal cruelty charges as the Maryland SPCA looks for ways to pay for treatment of the Parvo virus, which exceeds $5,000.
And they are just about as cute as they can get, huh? Now, Parvo usually affects puppies because it's such a deadly virus and very contagious. The other puppies that were rescued are being monitored to see if they develop any systems. Even still, there are even more pet dangers that can be found in your very own backyard. Still ahead on Delmarva Live, fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, they all can create serious health problems if you don't protect your furry friends. Our friends at Angie's List have some advice on how to keep them pest-free, even if they stay inside.
And ladies, you're going to love this. No more guessing if clothes you try on will work with your body. Enter virtual fitting rooms. Wait till you see how they work.
Okay, first, we've been talking about protecting our pets. Something else that you want to protect is your identity. Our friends from Sussex County Federal Credit Union can help, and here's Deb with this week's tip.
On behalf of Sussex County Federal Credit Union, I'm Debbie Jewell with this week's Dollars and Cents tip. In the summer months, we're always reminded to protect ourselves from things like sun damage and bug bites. But it's also a good time to protect ourselves from identity theft, which can last a lifetime. Avoid being a victim. Do not store login passwords on your mobile devices or in your wallet. Lock your mobile devices and laptops so that only you know the code. Sign up for free e-statements so your mailbox isn't a target for thieves. Do not use public Wi-Fi service to access your confidential or financial accounts. Before traveling, make copies of the front and back side of your credit and debit cards and secure them in a safe place so that you can quickly access them. That way, if you lose your cards or they get stolen, you can report them right away. And last but not least, don't keep old documents around that have your confidential and financial information on them. Instead, be sure to shred those documents. In fact, you can bring up to 2 boxes of documents to free shred events throughout the summer at a Sussex County Federal Credit Union branch near you. For dates, times, and locations, visit sussexcfcu.com and don't let identity theft ruin your fun this summer. Together, we can achieve more.